Hey there, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here with me today. And I mean that, because if you clicked on this video, chances are you're carrying something heavy. Maybe you've been fighting a chronic illness for years. Maybe you've recently been diagnosed with something that turned your world upside down. Or maybe you're walking alongside someone you love who's in that battle, and your heart is just exhausted from praying, from hoping, from watching them suffer. Whatever brought you here, I just want to start by saying, I see you. I might not know your exact story, but I know what it feels like to be tired, to be in pain, to wake up and wonder, how am I going to get through today? And if that's you, if that's where you are right now, you're not alone. Not at all. I've been there, and I've walked with people who are still there. And today I just want to sit with you for a bit, heart to heart, and invite you into a space of peace, of hope, of healing. Not perfect healing, not instant answers, but real comfort in the middle of the mess. That's what this video is about. You know, when we talk about healing, especially in faith circles, it can sometimes feel a little hard, can't it? Like, you've probably heard people say, just pray and you'll be healed, or you must not have enough faith if you're still sick. And those words, even when they're meant kindly, can feel like salt in an open wound. Because here's the reality. Chronic illness doesn't follow a timeline. It doesn't respond to our spiritual checklists. You can have all the faith in the world and still wake up in pain every day. You can love Jesus with everything you've got and still have a body that feels like it's falling apart. And that doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you less spiritual. It makes you human. And it puts you in the company of some of the most faithful people I know. I think about a friend of mine. His name's Mike. Mike's in his late 30s, a dad of 2, and he's been living with multiple sclerosis for almost a decade now. There was a time early on when people kept telling him, God's gonna heal you any day now. And Mike believed that. He prayed every night, fasted, laid hands on himself, asked others to pray, anointed himself with oil, you name it. And yet, year after year, the disease progressed. He went from walking fine to needing a cane to using a wheelchair on the hardest days. And I remember sitting with him one evening after church, both of us quiet for a long time. And then he looked at me and said, you know what I've learned? Healing doesn't always look like a cure. Sometimes healing looks like the strength to keep going when you don't get the miracle. Sometimes it's waking up with pain and still choosing to love your family, still choosing to smile, still choosing to praise God even when your body won't cooperate. That's healing too. And I've never forgotten that. Because see, the kind of healing prayer we're leaning into today, it's not just about asking God to erase our illness, although we absolutely believe He can. It's about coming to Him in our weakness, day after day, and saying, God, I need you. I need your presence in this pain. I need your strength when mine runs out. I need your peace to calm the anxiety that comes with every doctor's appointment, every flare-up, every sleepless night. Healing prayer, for those of us walking through chronic illness, isn't about pretending we're okay. It's about being real. It's about saying, God, this hurts and I don't understand it, but I trust you anyway. And that's one of the most powerful, courageous things you can pray. I know what it's like to cry on the bathroom floor, because your body just won't do what it used to. I know what it's like to feel the world moving on around you while you're stuck in bed, trying to muster up the energy to even eat a meal. I know what it's like to smile through pain because you're tired of people asking if you're okay. And I also know that in those darkest moments, when it feels like no one else gets it, God is there. He doesn't pull away from our suffering, He draws near. The Bible says in Psalm 34:18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." That's not just poetry, that's a promise. So if all you can do right now is sit with me here and take a deep breath, that's enough. You don't need to have a big breakthrough today. You don't need to say the perfect words. You just need to show up. To let yourself be loved. To know that you are not forgotten. Your pain is seen. Your tears are noticed. And your faith, even when it's hanging on by a thread, is enough. You are enough. This video isn't going to give you a magic formula. I'm not here to promise you that everything will change overnight. But what I can promise is this: if you keep leaning in, keep praying, keep coming to God with every ounce of honesty you've got, something inside you will shift. Maybe not all at once. Maybe not in a way others can see. But your soul will start to breathe again. Your heart will begin to hope again. And that, my friend, is the beginning of healing. So take a deep breath with me right now. Just breathe. You made it through another day. You're here. You're listening. And that in itself is a victory. Let's keep walking this together. I want to tell you about someone who changed the way I see healing forever. Her name is Dana. She's in her late 40s. And she's been living with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome for over 15 years now. When I first met Dana, she was sitting quietly in the back row of a support group at church. She didn't say much that first night, just smiled politely, listened, and left early. But over the next few weeks, she started opening up little by little. And what I discovered was a woman who had been through absolute fire and somehow still radiated grace. Dana told me that before her diagnosis, she was a powerhouse, running her own business, homeschooling her 3 kids, volunteering at church. She was the kind of person who never said no to anything, who had color-coded planners and more energy than anyone else in the room. But then, slowly, things began to change. It started with pain in her legs that wouldn't go away. Then came the exhaustion, so deep it felt like moving through wet cement. Then the brain fog. Then the doctor visits. Test after test, month after month, and no real answers. By the time she got a diagnosis, her life, as she knew it, had already crumbled. She had to give up her business. She couldn't keep up with the homeschooling. She felt like a stranger in her own body. And worst of all, she felt like she was letting everyone down, including God. I remember her telling me, I kept thinking, if I just had more faith, I wouldn't be like this. If I just prayed harder, I'd be healed. And so she did. She prayed with everything she had. She went to healing services. She was anointed with oil. She read every scripture about healing and quoted them every day. And yet her symptoms remained. And over time, the disappointment settled in deep. She felt abandoned, not just by her body, but by God. Why would you let this happen? She'd whisper through tears. Why haven't you answered me? But here's where Dana's story took a turn, not because her illness vanished, but because something in her spirit began to shift. One day, in the quiet of her room, after another flare-up had left her in bed for days, she whispered a different kind of prayer. It wasn't polished. It wasn't filled with declarations. It was raw and shaky. She simply said, God, I don't know what you're doing, but I need you. Not just to heal me, but to hold me, because I'm breaking. And something broke open in that moment, not in her body, but in her heart. The wall between her pain and God's presence began to fall, and for the first time in years, She felt peace, not because she was healed, but because she was held. From that moment on, Dana didn't stop praying for healing. But she stopped trying to perform her way into it. She started praying differently. She'd wake up and say, "God, thank you for this breath. Help me make it through this day with you." She started noticing small mercies, like the fact that her husband still held her hand, that her children still laughed with her, that her friends didn't walk away. She began writing down one thing every day that reminded her she was still alive, still loved, still seen. And over time, her soul started to rise again. Not because the pain was gone, but because God had moved into the pain with her. One day she told me, "I used to think healing was about getting my old life back, but now I see it's about finding God in the life I have." That hit me hard, because isn't that what so many of us are longing for? Not just to be fixed, but to feel whole again. To not feel like a burden, to not feel invisible, to not feel like we're on the outside of life looking in. Dana helped me see that healing isn't always loud and dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, gentle. It's the smile you didn't think you'd have today. The moment you let someone help you without shame. The first time in weeks, you wake up and feel just a little more like yourself. Dana still lives with pain. She still has days where she can't get out of bed. But she also leads a prayer group now, right from her living room, over Zoom. She encourages women around the country who are battling invisible illnesses. She writes devotionals from her couch. She celebrates the little wins with tears in her eyes. She is, in every sense of the word, a warrior. And she will tell you, over and over again, that it wasn't a single moment of healing prayer that changed her. It was the daily rhythm of inviting God into her reality, over and over, until her reality began to feel holy again. So if you're watching this and thinking, "That sounds like me," I want you to know, you're not the only one. You're not the only person who has felt forgotten, who has doubted, who has wrestled with guilt over not being healed yet. You're not the only one who has tried everything and still wakes up hurting. And you're definitely not the only one who's prayed and felt like heaven was silent. But what Dana's story reminds us is this: silence isn't absence. And waiting isn't punishment. Sometimes the deepest healing happens while we're still waiting. Sometimes the miracle is the strength to keep showing up. So don't give up. Don't stop praying. Don't stop believing that healing is possible. Not just for your body, but for your spirit, your emotions, your faith. God hasn't forgotten you, and your story isn't over yet. If he can meet Dana in her brokenness and bring beauty from the ashes, he can do the same for you. You know, when we talk about healing prayer, especially in the context of chronic illness, I want to be really honest. It's not some magic formula. It's not a quick fix or a secret phrase you say to make everything go away. It's so much deeper than that. It's not about snapping your fingers and being instantly well. Though I do believe that God absolutely can perform miracles. He can heal instantly. I've seen it happen. I've prayed for it. I've believed for it. But I've also come to know this. Healing prayer is just as much about presence as it is about power. It's not just about what we're asking God to do. It's about who we're asking to be with us in the middle of it. And that changes everything. You see, when we open our hearts in healing prayer, what we're really doing is saying, "God, I can't carry this on my own anymore. I need you. I need you in this hospital room. I need you in this silence. I need you in the pain, in the waiting, in the scan results, in the medication, in the sleepless nights. I need you, not just to fix it, but to be here with me through it. And that kind of prayer? It's raw, it's honest, it's powerful, because it's surrender, it's trust, it's relationship. And God moves so deeply when we invite him into those places. In 2 Corinthians 12:9, Paul talks about a thorn in his flesh, a chronic affliction he begged God to take away, and God didn't, at least not in the way Paul hoped. But instead, God answered with this, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Wow. That changes the whole game. Because it means that our weakness isn't the barrier, it's the doorway. Our pain isn't the disqualifier, it's the invitation. When we come to God weak, he shows up strong. Not always by removing the struggle, but by giving us the strength to stand in the middle of it. That's healing. That's transformation. I know some people hear the word healing and immediately think it means the illness disappears, the scans come back clear, the pain is gone for good. And sometimes, yes, that happens, and we rejoice. But other times, healing looks like something different. It looks like waking up with pain, but still having peace. It looks like the depression didn't lift, but you got out of bed anyway. It looks like you're still walking through treatments, but you're not doing it alone anymore. Healing prayer doesn't always change the circumstance right away, but it always changes us when we let it. It deepens our intimacy with God. It reminds us we're not abandoned. It shifts our perspective. It gives us strength for today, even if tomorrow is still uncertain. And friend, that kind of strength is holy. That kind of faith is gold, because it's forged in fire. It's not shallow. It's not fake. It's the real, gritty, messy kind of faith that holds on to Jesus even when the healing hasn't come yet. And let me tell you something. God honors that kind of faith. He draws near to it. He surrounds it. He moves in it. Sometimes the most sacred thing you can do is sit in a quiet room and whisper through the pain, "God, I'm still here. I still trust you. I still believe you're good, even though this hurts so much." That's a prayer that shakes heaven. That's a prayer that makes demons tremble. That's a prayer that touches the heart of God, because it's not polished, it's not perfect, it's not performative, it's just real. And God is drawn to real. Healing prayer is also not something you have to do alone. In fact, you're not meant to. The Bible says in James 5:16, "Confess your sins to one another and pray for each other so that you may be healed." The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. There's something deeply powerful about coming together with others, even if it's just one friend or family member or pastor or small group, and saying, "Hey, I'm struggling. Will you pray with me?" That kind of vulnerability opens the door for God to move, not just in your body, but in your relationships, your heart, your mind. And if you don't have someone like that in your life right now, I want you to know, you're not without hope. You've got this space right here. You've got me. You've got this community. You can leave a comment and say, "Please pray for me," and I promise you'll be prayed for. That's not just something I say. It's something I do, because I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in lifting each other up. I believe that even when healing doesn't come the way we expect, something always shifts when we invite God in. So wherever you are right now, in a bed, in a chair, in your car, in the middle of a hard day or a long night, can I just remind you that God is not distant from your pain? He's not indifferent. He's not waiting for you to get better spiritually before he comes close. He's already there. He's been there. And he's inviting you to stop striving and just rest. Rest in his love. Rest in his presence. Rest in the truth that you don't have to carry this alone. Healing prayer is not about earning a miracle. It's about abiding with the miracle worker. It's not about praying the right words. It's about being real with the God who already knows your every thought. It's not about fixing yourself. It's about letting the one who formed you, hold you, carry you, strengthen you, and slowly, beautifully make you whole. So today, wherever you are in your journey, whether you're in the early days of diagnosis, deep in the middle of treatment, or living with a condition that's become part of your daily rhythm, I want to encourage you. Keep praying. Keep showing up. Keep inviting God into the pain, because He's not done writing your story. He's not done healing your heart, and He's not done strengthening your soul. The journey may be long. It may be hard, but you don't have to walk it alone. He is with you. He is for you, and He is more than enough. So how do we actually do this? How do we make healing prayer a part of our everyday life when we're walking through something as exhausting, painful, and unpredictable as chronic illness? It's a good question, and the answer might surprise you in how simple and freeing it can be. First off, I want you to take a deep breath with me right now. Just pause for a moment. Close your eyes if you can, and slowly inhale. Then exhale. That breath, that's a gift. That's proof you're still here. And with every breath, you have an open invitation to connect with the God who made you. Healing prayer isn't about having perfect words or perfect timing. It's about presence. It's about honesty. It's about being fully where you are, with all your pain, your fears, your frustration, and your longing, and saying, God, here I am. I need you. If you're not used to praying regularly, or if your prayers have felt empty lately because of all the pain you're in, let me make it really practical for you. Start small, like really small. Think of healing prayer not as a one-time event, but as a rhythm, like breathing, like taking your meds, like checking in with your doctor. It can be as simple as waking up in the morning and whispering, Lord, I don't know what today holds, but I need your strength to get through it. That's a healing prayer. Or, when your body aches in the middle of the night and you can't sleep, just breathe deeply and say, Jesus, be near in this pain. That's a healing prayer too. You don't need to set aside an hour or memorize a script. You just need a few intentional moments to connect. And those moments over time build a relationship. They recenter your heart. They bring peace that makes no sense on paper. You can say it out loud, you can write it in a journal, you can whisper it in your mind while lying in bed. It all counts, because God hears your heart louder than your voice. Now, if you want a simple structure to start with, here's one that's helped me and so many others. Presence, honesty, invitation, trust. 4 steps. Nothing fancy, just real. Step 1 is presence. Before you say anything, just pause and become aware that God is with you. Right there in your bedroom, in your hospital bed, in your car, wherever you are, He's with you. No need to invite Him in. He's already there. Just acknowledge it. You might say, God, I know you're here with me. That one sentence shifts the atmosphere of your heart. Step 2 is honesty. This is where you get real. Tell Him exactly how you feel. If you're angry, say that. If you're scared, say that. If you feel forgotten or tired or numb or full of doubt, say that too. He can handle it. He wants your honesty more than your performance. You could say, God, I'm exhausted. I'm scared this will never get better. I'm trying to believe you're good, but today it's hard. That's the kind of prayer that touches heaven. Step 3 is invitation. This is where you ask Him to enter into that space with you, to bring His healing, His comfort, His peace. You don't need big words. Just open your heart. You might say, Jesus, I need you in this pain. I need your healing touch, not just for my body, but for my heart, my mind, my spirit. Come be with me here. That invitation, that's the doorway for transformation. And step 4 is trust. End your prayer by anchoring your heart in the truth that God is faithful, even when you don't see the answer yet. Say something like, God, I don't understand everything, but I choose to trust you. I choose to believe you're working even in this. I believe you're with me and you're not done writing my story. That statement of trust, it's not denial. It's defiant hope. And hope is healing. You can walk through these 4 steps in 2 minutes or in 20. There's no pressure. The point isn't to get it right. The point is to be with God in the reality of your journey. And the more often you do this, the more your soul will begin to shift. The pain might still be there. The symptoms might still flare up. But your heart, it'll start to settle. You'll feel less alone, more anchored, more loved. Here's another powerful way to integrate healing prayer into your routine. Pair it with something you already do every day. Maybe every time you take your medication, you use that moment to say a short prayer. Something like, God, use this medicine to bring healing. Let your hands guide it. Let your peace fill me as I take it. That small shift can turn a routine task into a holy moment. Or maybe you set a reminder on your phone, not to pressure yourself, but to pause and pray for 1 minute, once or twice a day. Just a breath prayer. A simple whisper of God, heal me from the inside out, or Jesus, carry me through today. These moments don't erase your struggle, but they remind you that you're not walking through it alone. You might also find healing prayer through music. Create a playlist of worship songs that speak to your heart, and let those words become your prayer when you can't find your own. Or try journaling. Write down your thoughts, your symptoms, your fears, and then write a line or 2 inviting God into it. You don't need to be poetic. You just need to be present. And friend, if there are days you don't feel like praying, that's okay too. Don't shame yourself. Don't quit. Just show up anyway. God's not measuring your faith by how strong your prayers sound. He's looking at your heart. And every time you show up, even weak, even tired, even angry, He sees it. And He meets you there. I want you to know that healing prayer isn't about denying reality. It's about inviting divine reality into your human one. It's not about escaping your pain. It's about finding a deeper strength within it. A strength that doesn't come from you, but from the one who lives in you. And that strength, it's what gets you through the longest nights. It's what helps you face another doctor's appointment. It's what gives you peace when the world around you doesn't make sense. So as you go forward, remember this. Prayer is not a task. It's not an obligation. It's a lifeline. And healing prayer isn't just for the days when you feel spiritual. It's for the days when you feel like giving up. Especially those days. That's when it matters most. That's when it becomes real. That's when God shows up in power and in love. Not always to change your situation instantly, but always to hold you, guide you, and remind you. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are loved beyond measure. Now I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds beautiful, but how in the world do I actually keep this up every day? I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. Some days I can barely make it to the kitchen, let alone find time or energy to pray. And listen, if that's you, I hear you. I see you. I've been there too, and I'm here to tell you this. You don't have to do it perfectly. You don't have to have long, eloquent prayers or perfectly scheduled time slots every day. The beauty of healing prayer is that it meets you exactly where you are, in exactly the condition you're in. But still, creating a gentle rhythm, a supportive habit, can be such a lifeline when you're navigating chronic illness. And I want to help you find something that actually works for you. So let me share a few things that have helped me and so many others keep healing prayer a real and steady part of life, even in the mess and chaos of pain and fatigue. First, make it small and consistent. One of the biggest misconceptions is that prayer has to be long to be powerful. Not true. Some of the most powerful prayers I've ever prayed were just a sentence, sometimes just a breath, a whispered "Jesus help." That's it. When your body is worn out and your mind is foggy, just set the bar low. Tell yourself, I'm going to whisper one healing prayer each day. That's enough. And if that's all you can do, that's beautiful. Heaven hears it loud and clear. You can also try pairing your prayer with something you already do every day, like brushing your teeth, drinking your morning tea, or taking your medication. Turn those ordinary moments into sacred moments. As you take your pills, you could say, God, let this medicine work with your healing hand. As you sip your coffee, breathe in peace and say, Jesus, be my strength today. That rhythm, repeated daily, begins to weave God's presence into even the most mundane parts of your life. Another helpful thing is to create a prayer space. This doesn't have to be fancy. It could just be a chair by the window, a cozy corner with a soft blanket, a candle on your bedside table. Let it be a little physical spot that tells your brain and soul, this is where I meet with God. Even if you only sit there for 2 minutes, that space becomes a refuge. It becomes a visual reminder that you're not alone, that there's hope, there's peace, there's a presence waiting for you there. If you're someone who responds well to structure, writing your prayers in a journal can be a powerful tool. Don't worry about spelling or grammar. Just write as you'd speak. Let it all out. The pain, the confusion, the anger, the little glimmers of hope. And then maybe write one sentence to God each day. Today, I need healing in my back. Today, I need peace in my mind. Today, I'm just scared. That journal becomes a living record of your journey, and over time, you'll be amazed at what you see. You'll be able to look back and realize, wow, I was in such a dark place, but look how far I've come. Look how God has carried me. You might also consider setting gentle reminders on your phone, not to pressure you, but to invite you. Maybe one in the morning that says, pause and breathe, pray for healing. Or one in the evening that says, you're still here. Thank God for one thing. These nudges can keep your soul anchored without overwhelming you. Another powerful habit is to surround yourself with words that speak life. Maybe it's a sticky note on your mirror that says, God is healing me in every way. Maybe it's a Bible verse taped to your fridge. Maybe it's a line from a worship song that reminds you that you're not alone. Let these little things speak into the noise. Let them catch your eyes and gently pull your heart back to God when your day feels too heavy. And can I be really honest here? Some days none of these things will feel easy. Some days even these simple steps will feel like too much. And on those days I want you to know, you're not failing, you're not falling behind, you're not less spiritual, you're human, you're tired, you're hurting. And on those days, just rest in God's presence. Say nothing if that's all you can do. Cry if you need to. Let the silence itself be your prayer. Because God hears what your heart is saying, even when your lips can't form the words. Also, please don't walk this journey alone. If you can, Invite someone you trust into your healing prayer habit. Maybe a friend, a spouse, someone from church. Ask them to pray with you once a week, or just text you every few days with encouragement. You don't have to carry all of this by yourself. We weren't meant to. And healing, even the inner kind, tends to happen faster when we're surrounded by love. One of my favorite ideas is to create a gratitude healing jar. It's simple. Every day, write one thing you're grateful for and one thing you're asking God to heal, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Fold it, put it in the jar. Over time, it becomes this beautiful visual reminder that God is with you in both your blessings and your battles. It's a mix of hope and honesty. And it's incredibly healing. Now let me say this again for someone who needs to hear it. You don't have to be strong all the time. Healing prayer isn't about how tough you are or how many verses you can quote. It's about showing up. It's about opening your heart even when it's messy, even when it's hurting, and saying, God, I'm here. Will you meet me again today? And He will. Over and over again. He never gets tired of hearing your voice. He never rolls his eyes at your tears. He never says, not you again. No, He leans in, He listens, and He heals. Not always in the way we imagine, but always in the way we need most. So keep going, keep praying, keep building that quiet, sacred rhythm into your life. Let healing prayer become like a heartbeat, steady, present, faithful. It won't always feel big or emotional or miraculous. Sometimes it'll feel tiny, tired, barely there. But those are often the most beautiful prayers of all. Because they're real. They cost something. And God cherishes every one of them. Hey, before we wrap up today, I just want you to take one deep breath with me again. Right now. Inhale slowly and exhale. I want you to really feel this moment, not just rush through it, not just skip to the next thing, but actually be here. Because if you've made it this far in the video, it's not by accident. I truly believe that. You're not watching this by coincidence. You're not listening to these words because of some random algorithm. You're here because something inside you is still reaching for hope. And I want you to know that matters. You matter. The fact that you're still showing up, still breathing, still praying, still trying even on your hardest days, that says something powerful about your heart. It says you're not done yet. And neither is God. I know chronic illness can make you feel invisible. It can make you feel forgotten, like the world has moved on while you're stuck in the same loop of symptoms, appointments, fatigue, and frustration. It can chip away at your confidence, your joy, your sense of identity. But let me tell you something. Right here, right now, with every ounce of sincerity in me, you are not invisible to God. You are not forgotten. He sees every sleepless night. He knows every tear that falls when no one else is watching. He hears the prayers you whisper through clenched teeth, the ones you don't even have the energy to finish. And He holds them all with tenderness and compassion. You are not alone. Your pain does not disqualify you from God's love. Your illness does not limit His ability to use your life in beautiful, meaningful ways. In fact, some of the most powerful testimonies I've ever heard came from people just like you. People walking through chronic conditions, people whose healing didn't happen overnight, but whose faith became unshakable in the waiting. You don't have to wait until you're better to be loved, to be useful, to be whole. God is meeting you right now, right in the middle of this struggle. He's not waiting at the finish line with healing in His hands. He's walking beside you step by step, carrying you when you're too tired to walk yourself. And He's whispering, I've got you. I'm still here. I haven't let go. So please, Don't give up. Don't stop praying. Don't stop believing that healing in all its forms is possible. Even if your body isn't changing as fast as you want, your spirit can still be renewed. Your heart can still find peace. Your soul can still be strengthened. That's healing too. Sometimes it starts in the unseen places first. Sometimes the miracle is the courage to keep going when everything inside you wants to stop. And friend, if you've watched this far, I already know you have that kind of courage. I want to invite you, gently but earnestly, to keep making room in your life for healing prayer. Not as a checklist, not as a demand, but as a lifeline. A whisper of trust in the middle of the storm. You don't need to have all the right words, you just need a willing heart. And if you ever forget how to pray, just say this: Jesus, I need you. That's more than enough. Every time. And hey, if this video spoke to you, if it made you feel seen or comforted, or even just a little more hopeful, I'd be so honored if you take a moment to subscribe to this channel, Live According to God's Word. Not because numbers matter, but because I genuinely want to walk this journey with you. We're building something here, a community where it's safe to be real, to wrestle with questions, to share stories, and to hold each other up. Healing is hard, but it's easier when we don't walk alone. Leave me a comment below. Tell me what part of today's message resonated with you. Or share your story. Let me know what you're praying for. What kind of healing you're still hoping for. I read every single message. I really do. And I pray over them, because I believe that where two or more agree, God shows up in powerful ways. And I want to stand in faith with you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I don't take it lightly. I know you have a million things pulling at your attention, and the fact that you chose to be here with me right now, that's sacred. Until next time, stay strong, stay tender, and stay open. Healing is not a far-off dream. It's happening already, inside you, even now. Trust the process. Trust the healer. You're not alone. You're not broken beyond repair. You are deeply loved, fiercely held, and wonderfully made. I'll see you soon.